My coverage of CES 2023 is brought to you by Asus, Gigabyte, Kioxia, and Cooler Master. Welcome back everyone to my continuing coverage of CES 2023. I am now at the actual convention center. I tend to not make it here very often during these shows, but I came to visit LG, who was ensconced in a large white box with an LG logo on it. I feel like their booth has gotten even bigger than ever this year, which is kind of crazy because they always have a massive booth. Of course, they had the OLED curved wall of awesomeness, displaying amazing high-resolution images. I have no idea how they power this wall, but it looks beautiful. And LG has a wide variety of finished goods, everything from their new wireless OLEDs that they were constantly threatening to dip down into a vat of water, to smart home items, refrigerators, and everything. But I know what we are more interested in, and that is the UltraGear Gaming Monitors. They have two new ones on display this year that are just either recently launched or launching very soon. In fact, you can already order, I think, both of these right now. So let's start off with the big one. This is the LG UltraGear OLED 45GR95QE. And of course, monitor names are always a jumble of letters and numbers, but this is a 45-inch 21:9 OLED display, 3440 by 1440 resolution, and you might recognize the panel because it is the same panel that's used in the Corsair Xeneon Flex monitor, which I did a preview of a few months back. A Corsair's monitor is flexible but costs $2,000. The LG variant is not flexible, but it is curved, an 800R curve in fact. Quite a significant curve compared to a lot of ones that are out there, but the trade-off for not being able to reach out and bend it towards you away from you is that it costs $1,600 US and not $2,000. Time will tell if the extra $400 is worth it for the flexibility of the Xeneon Flex. But the thing I said about the Corsair Xeneon Flex originally is that the OLED display itself is absolutely gorgeous. OLED does not require a backlight, so you get very deep and true blacks, a wide range of color reproduction, and it is a 240 Hz refresh rate, which makes it absolutely amazing for gaming. It is Freesync Premium certified, and it is also, of course, G-Sync compatible, so you can use it with variable refresh rate mode with both AMD and NVIDIA graphics cards. And it also, of course, has HDMI 2.1 support because you do need HDMI 2.1 to push that refresh rate at this resolution. LG said they're going to send one of these over for me to take a closer look at, so stay tuned for that coming probably later in January. Now, if you are interested in an OLED panel, and specifically one for gaming, LG didn't just have that 45-inch one, which does cost a pretty penny at $1,600. They have a slightly less expensive one. It is $1,000, 27-inch 2560 by 1440 display, which is the 27GR95QE-B. But apart from this one being 16:9 instead of 21:9, it shares the vast majority of the specs with its older sibling. 240 Hz refresh rate, 0.03 millisecond response time. That's peak mind you, not average. And again, excellent color reproduction and dark blacks thanks to the OLED panel itself, with 98.5% of the DCI P3 spectrum covered in terms of color depth. So admittedly, even at $1,000, this is still a fairly expensive monitor, but you are getting a really nice assembly of specifications. 2560 by 1440 resolution does not necessarily need an RTX 4090 to drive higher frame rates in games. And again, if I didn't reiterate it enough, LG's OLED displays just look absolutely gorgeous, and you really need to see them in person in order to get the full appreciation of just how nice they look. After covering those two monitors, I had a little bit of extra time, so I said, LG, what else do you think I might be interested in? They took me over to check out their Gram laptops. First off was the LG Gram 17 or 17Z9OR. These are extremely thin and light laptops. This one has a 17-inch display. It is IPS with anti-glare, 99% DCI P3, and it goes up to 144 Hz. So you can do a bit of gaming on this one because it also has an RTX 3050 mobile GPU in there. This laptop's available in a variety of different configurations, but being part of the LG Gram line means that it is extremely thin and light. And yes, with these laptops, you pretty much have to pick them up one-handed and turn them around to indicate just how thin and light they actually are. It also had a smaller version, the LG Gram 15Z90RT, which is a 15.6-inch version of basically that same monitor. This one is not going to have that discrete GPU option for the RTX 3050, but it is going to weigh a lot less. In fact, 998 grams, which is quite light. That's only 2.2 pounds. I also like that LG has kept a reasonable amount of connectivity on these laptops, thanks to the use of USB Type-C. This one has two USB Type-C on one side and one more on the other, alongside a mic and headphone jack. Next up, we had a pretty cool side-by-side demo setup. On the left, we have an LG Gram 16. That's the 16Z90R. 16-inch IPS anti-glare display. This one also goes up to 144 Hz. And yes, this is also the one that's available with that RTX 3050, just a slightly different screen size than the other one I showed you. But they had a nice mobile computing setup with an LG Gram Plus View set right next to it. That is model number 16MR70. So this operates via USB-C with DisplayPort Alt mode. It's a 16-inch display, IPS, anti-glare, 60 Hz refresh rate, and it's also quite thin and light, only 660 grams, so a great companion to one of these LG Gram displays. And they said, yes, you could pair this with like the 17-inch laptop or the 15-inch versions, but it really sits very nicely next to the 16-inch display because they basically have the exact same panel. Next, we had a couple LG Gram style laptops, and these are a little bit more styled. They have a little bit of color integrated. In fact, the bar that's right in front of the keyboard has sort of a translucent sort of holographic effect to it. So depending on the angle that you look at it, it was looking sort of pinkish to grayish to almost a little bit of yellow, but I think that might have been a reflection from some of the lights in their booth. This one has a 14-inch display, but it's 2880 by 1800. It is an OLED as well. And that one can switch between 60 and 90 Hertz refresh rate, so that's pretty cool too. Next to that, we have the 16-inch version, 16Z90RS. That one has a 3200 by 2000 OLED display. Both of them looked very nice, and again, were very thin and light if you picked them up and moved them around. And a cool feature here is you might look and think like, where's the touchpad? But it's actually kind of hidden. As soon as you start touching the middle of that lower bar, you have two little lights on either side that guide you to where the touchpad actually is, and then you can use it like you would any normal touchpad. And they call that the haptic seamless touchpad. But that was all the time I had at the LG booth. They had lots of other cool stuff, lots of finished goods. Again, the home goods and like the smart refrigerators and stuff that I'm always like, that looks interesting, but I don't know if I want a smart fridge in my home quite yet. But guys, if you thought any of those LG Gram laptops were cool, definitely let me know down in the video's description. And stay tuned as I will be doing some further coverage later this month or perhaps in early February on that epic 45-inch OLED that they had. But that's all for this one, you guys. I'd like to say a big thank you once again to my sponsors for CES 2023, Asus, Gigabyte, Kioxia, and Cooler Master. I'm nearly done. I'm almost done, but I think I still got a little bit more coming for you, so hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, of course, if you're not already, and we'll see you all in the next one.